a friend of mine who has actually lived in the countryside all her life, all her 60 years plus life in the countryside, was actually telling me that right now, when you go to shags, when you go to their ancestral land, like where she has grown up, where her grandparents grew up, where her great-great-grandparents grew up, a typical family that has a father, children, and a mother, like the mother is not there, especially young mothers, because the young mothers have gone to the Gulf to look for money. She was actually telling me that her neighbors and her neighbors' neighbors, now where the husbands have married, the wives, the young mothers actually, have left their children with their mothers or their mothers-in-law, and they've gone to the Gulf in the quest for money. These young mothers go to the Gulf to do domestic work, cleaning the house, cleaning the clothes, cleaning the children, all that typical type of stuff, housework, except cooking, because the culture there in the Gulf does not allow them to cook. That's what my friend told me. So my friend has a friend who has gone abroad, a young mother. So let's call her Serena. Serena is the lady who has gone abroad and is a representation of the young mothers in the countryside who are leaving their children behind, who are leaving their husbands behind to go make more money. My friend was actually trying to challenge Serena, telling her, hey, like, how can you leave your 9-month baby with your mom? How can you leave your 3-year-old toddler? How can you leave your husband behind? This is a marriage sacred institution. How can you leave them behind looking for money? And Serena had an interesting answer. She was like, all her life, she hasn't had an opportunity to have formal education. The farthest that she has gone to is to get to class 6. So she never even finished primary school. She never even finished high school. Where on earth is she ever in her lifetime going to get a job that's going to pay her 27,000 shillings? Because that's how much she's paid monthly in the Gulf, 27,000 shillings. And my friend didn't have an answer to that. She didn't have an answer to that. She was like, you know what, you go. Because it makes sense that when an opportunity is presented to you that in your lifetime, you know yourself that you can never, ever get to a point where you earn a certain amount of money and you get the opportunity, you are willing to let go, sacrifice, and go for it, even if it means you leaving your family behind. Serena's story is a typical story in that place. So my friend was even joking. She was like, Ivy, if you want to go abroad, why are you even bothering living in Nairobi? Like, people in the countryside have gone abroad. Some are in Canada, but most of them are in the Gulf. They're like, it's easy to get a passport, which made me think, like, how easy is it to get a passport? And the way it's so difficult to get a passport here in Kenya. Like, you just say, hey, I'm going to Qatar. The next day you are in a plane, you're gone. Okay? And that's the typical story in most households where there's a young family involved, because of course a 50-year-old lady is not going to be doing the domestic work in the Gulf. And so my friend was like, it's not just Serena, it's her family. And she was like, do you know that family next to somebody? Yeah, that lady is not there. Do you know that family next to somebody? That family is not there. Like, the lady left, and the men are okay with it. I don't know if they're okay or they're not okay with it, or the children are okay or not okay with it, but that's an opportunity to make more money. So that story made me realize 3 truths about money. The first truth is that money buys happiness. It not entirely buys all the happiness in the world, but it does buy some aspect of happiness. Think about it. The reason why you go to work, or the reason why you're looking for a promotion so that you can climb the ladder, is so that you can make more money. The reason why you go to your salon every day to braid hair, the reason why you open your butchery every day is to make money. Why? Because that money is going to give you an opportunity to be comfortable, to build your own home. That's why people take mortgages. That's why people take loans, to buy land so that they build their own house. So money, in some aspect, is in a big chunk of the aspect of money is to give us comfort, is to enable us to afford and go beyond just the necessities like food, clothing, but to enjoy the comforts So when people say, oh, that rich guy, he has a private jet, the guy has a house in an island where he can just go relax, because money gives us an opportunity to live comfortable than we are. And that's why Serena is going abroad, because she knows that, hey, if I can make 27,000 shillings, come back home after 2 years, build a house for my mom, ensure my children are well fed, they go to school, they can afford, to go to school comfortably, then it's worth me leaving everything behind, going for that, so that they can enjoy life. So it's true. Money gives us a huge chunk of happiness, in terms of it gives us the ability to afford and buy and enjoy the luxuries and comforts that it comes with. The second truth about money is that money requires sacrifice. So according to Serena's story, like the way my friend was told by Serena, is that she goes to the Gulf, and by the Gulf I'm talking about countries like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Kuwait, those countries in the Gulf. And for the countries in the Gulf, according now to her friend Serena, is that she goes there, like, let's say for 2 years, and when she comes back, she stays like for a whole month. And then if she wants to go back, she goes back, but then now for 2 years, and then comes back for 2 months. So Serena is typically sacrificing her time with her children. She's sacrificing the joy of enjoying, motherhood. Serena is sacrificing her emotional well-being of staying connected to her children and her husband to go look for money. So the question is, to what extent are you willing to sacrifice? On that note of sacrifice, money has made us adaptive as human beings and adoptive as human beings. Because my friend was actually telling me that Serena was telling her, actually my friend was actually trying to convince Serena that whatever life that she's having there in the Gulf, it doesn't involve enjoyment. For example, Serena was telling my friend that in as much as she's in Saudi Arabia and working as a domestic worker, like, she's not allowed to go to the shops. Like, imagine you're here in Kenya, yes, you can go to the shop, buy something. She can't do that. All those 2 years that she's there, she's locked inside the house. She doesn't know how the sound of, a bird sounds like. She doesn't know even how the desert looks like. She can't step outside the house. She has to stay indoors and do the domestic work. That's the nature of her work, and those are some of the restrictions that she faces. And so my friend was actually trying to tell Serena that, hey, my friend now, she can't go abroad. If she's ever in such a situation where she doesn't even hear the birds sing, she doesn't even get a chance to go to the market, she will cry to death. And that's the thing that I'm talking about, sacrifice and adapting. So for my friend, she can't go abroad because she feels like she's not willing to sacrifice her freedom. Yes, she doesn't earn much, but she'd prefer going to the market there in Shags, making less money, but going to the market, talking to people, interacting with people, saying hi, going to church, seeing, then come back home, hear the birds sing, hear the sound of the rain. Serena doesn't have that opportunity. She's never even heard of the sound of the rain because she's locked up. But then Serena was like, she's so used to we call it mateso, because that's how my friend was viewing it. Serena was like, she's so used to being in such a situation that she doesn't even view it as suffering. Of course, when she goes there for 2 years, she misses the food here in Africa, the ugali, the traditional vegetables, mboga za kienyeji. She misses all that because in the Gulf, the culture there, it's typically rice. So it's either pilau, I don't know how they cook it, but the staple food there is rice. So she's been forced to integrate into the culture. Though she hasn't integrated, she doesn't like it, but she doesn't have an option. So to her, the suffering that we are viewing, according to her, it's not suffering because she's become so used to suffering that she's become numb to that. For her, it's okay. She's like, okay, me, as long as I get paid 27,000 shillings at the end of the month and there's no default in paying me, it's fine. The third truth that I learned about money is that we'll never stop looking for money. Think about it. The reason why we wake up every single day, though we don't want to wake up early so that we go to work on time, it's because of the money. Money caters for our needs. Money is life, typically. Okay? So, you wake up every day, you go to a job, probably a job that you don't like, but you have to go there. Okay? So, you will never stop looking for money because all the necessities and all the wants that we need are derived from money. The reason why we look for a better job, we look for a promotion, it's because of the money. The reason why the country is corrupt, why we have corrupt government officials, it's because they can never be satisfied with what they earn. They want more. We will always want money as human beings, and we want more of it. In fact, the more that we get, the more that we want. We'd never reach a point of full satisfaction. If this is true, then that we'll never stop looking for money. We should not let money get in the way of the things that money cannot buy. You cannot buy your health. You cannot buy trust from people. You cannot buy true friendship. You cannot buy time. When you get the time to laugh and enjoy the laughter of children and play, do it. If you get an opportunity to be kind and empathetic, to extend love and care to people, do it. When you get the time or when you get the opportunity to have peace of mind, to play football, to dance in the rain, to enjoy the laughter of your children, of your cousins, do it. Let me wrap up with a quote from an author and journalist called George Lorimer. He says, "It's good to have money and the things that money can buy, but it's good too to check up once in a while and make sure that you haven't lost the things that money can't buy.